Welcome to part 2 of our presentation of the evaluation of the most dangerous drugs, where Dr. David Nutt published an article that rated drug dangers, where he analyzed 20 drugs on 16 criteria. What we're going to discuss today is the list of the drugs that were evaluated. Now, it's interesting in that when this paper came out, it caused a tremendous amount of controversy. And it was believed that the reason it was so controversial is that Dr. Nutt called alcohol a drug. And then he had the audacity to say that it was a dangerous drug. He was forced to resign from his role of chairman of what is basically, he was the drug czar of the United Kingdom. He had published an article in the medical journal The Lancet, and we're now going to discuss the drugs that they evaluated. The first drug that we're going to mention is the drug heroin. This is classed in England as a Class A drug. They have Class A, B, and C, with Class A being the most dangerous. It was originally used as a painkiller and is derived from the opium poppy. There are apparently 897 deaths from heroin and morphine use in 2008 in England and Wales. The next drug discussed is cocaine, which is also a Class A substance. We all know that this comes from South America, coca leaves, and cocaine accounted for 235 deaths. The next medication or drug is barbiturates. Now that's a Class B, which means that it is used, although it is rarely used. It's a synthetic sedative used for anesthetic purposes and also for seizures. It's rarely used nowadays. The next drug is street methadone. It is a Class A drug. It is also a synthetic drug. It's commonly used as a substitute for treating heroin addicts. As a street drug illicit, it accounted for 378 deaths. The next drug is a very common drug that we're all familiar with, which is alcohol. And alcohol has been the subject of increasing concern from the medical profession because of its damage to health. There are a significant amount of deaths in the United Kingdom, and it is climbing. Next drug discussed is an unusual drug that's not readily available, is ketamine. It's a Class C drug, and it's a hallucinogen. It's also been known to be a dance drug for clubbers. There were few ketamine deaths from 1993 to 2006. There are only 23 deaths from this drug. The next is a very common drug. It has been known as the most commonly prescribed drug in the world. This is benzodiazepine. These are a class of drugs. They're hypnotic, relaxant drugs used to treat anxiety and insomnia. There are numerous drugs in this class. There's over 250 names for these drugs. They cause some death. It's usually when it causes death, it's combined with opiates and alcohol. Next drug is a very common drug. It's amphetamines. And amphetamines are, once again, a group of drugs which are psychostimulants. They've been used to combat fatigue and suppress hunger. Amphetamines are associated with 99 deaths, although this tally includes some ecstasy deaths. The next commonly used drug is tobacco. Tobacco is a stimulant that is highly addictive due to nicotine. They state that more than 100,000 people die a year in the United Kingdom alone. They die from smoking and tobacco-related diseases, including cancer, respiratory diseases, and heart disease. It's been stated that there are 1,000 diseases that tobacco causes. The next drug is buprenorphine. It's a synthetic opiate which has been used for pain control, and it's sometimes used as a substitute to wean addicts off of heroin. Buprenorphine is claimed to have caused 43 deaths in a very long period of time, although I find this hard to believe. The next drug that is analyzed by this group is cannabis. Cannabis is a Class C drug. Cannabis, as you know, is a psychoactive drug that recently has appeared in stronger forms such as skunk. Skunk cannabis is a subject of a lot of intense research. The next drug class evaluated by these investigators were solvents. Solvent fumes are inhaled to produce a sense of intoxication. Solvents are usually abused by teenagers. They are derived from commonly available products such as glue and aerosol sprays. They have been the cause of around 50 deaths a year. The next drug that they evaluated is 4-MTA. This drug is a Class A drug having no medical usages. It was originally designed for laboratory research. It causes the release of serotonin in the body, which can cause terrible, nasty deaths. The next drug is well known as LSD. It's a hallucinogenic drug, originally synthesized by a German chemist in 1938. It rarely causes death. The next drug that's evaluated is methylphenidate. This is a name for Ritalin. Ritalin is a psychostimulant, just like amphetamines or methamphetamines, and it has been used in the treatment of attention deficit disorders. The next drug is anabolic steroids. These are naturally occurring steroids such as testosterone. It can be given in high doses to cause hypertrophy of muscles. It is not well known, but anabolic steroids cause a lot of health problems, and they should be avoided. The last 4 drugs that were evaluated in our study of dangerous drugs include some that are not very well known, including GHB, alkyl nitrates, which include amyl nitrate, and cat. Cat is used in many other countries as a psychostimulant, but it is rarely used in the United Kingdom. A drug that is more well known is the drug ecstasy. It is known as a Class A drug that has no known medical benefits. It's used as a psychoactive dance drug. So this concludes our list of the 20 drugs that were evaluated by Dr. David Nutt and his colleagues. And they published a study where they ranked these drugs from the most dangerous to the least dangerous. Join me next time for part 3, where we will review this scientific article and reveal to you the least to the most dangerous drug. We look forward to our next session together.